Hello, everybody. Welcome back to season 2 of Till the Whistle Blows podcast. My name is Sam. We're happy to have you back here. So, with our new change here, it is now season 2. We decided to break it off into 30-minute segments. We'll do 2 topics in the big 30 minutes, and then we'll spend the last 30 minutes talking just minor topics and kind of giving thoughts on each, and we will hopefully wrap up within an hour. We'll be doing this just, our usual football schedule is not the same as what we have here. We will be doing it like this. Hopefully you guys will enjoy it. Our new day also as well. We're no longer coming out on Wednesdays. We will be coming out on Saturdays. So our first episode that you're hearing now, this will be the first Saturday of our new season. Season 2, hopefully you guys enjoy our new format. It's going to be a little more focused, a little more intuitive with everything. Few more changes are going on as well, and we will end the podcast when you hear the whistle blow finally. So we got that up and going as well. We will always ask also a question of the episode or the day for the following week. We will post it on Twitter as well in case if you missed this episode. We will always have it there with you. All right. So with that, we haven't spoken to y'all since Super Bowl Sunday, which was February 7th. So it has been a full on month. As we mentioned, we were taking a little hiatus during that. That's our season 1. We wanted to fix it up, make it a little cleaner, and we are back, and there's a lot that's been going on. So why don't we start here with one of the things I think is the biggest new announcements of 2021 here. So we are going to be talking about the Fan-Controlled Football League. Now, what is that, you might be asking? The Fan-Controlled Football League is a league that was started. I kept getting ads for it throughout the NFL season. I didn't know what it was, but it took place immediately after the Super Bowl. What that was, though, it's a league. It has 4 teams with a lot of big names backing everyone up, but we could talk there's Quavo in it, Richard Sherman, Austin Eckler was in it. I believe Dalvin Cook has a stake in it. There's a lot of big names behind this operation here, so they're already getting the money. It's become the fastest growing league. The XFL kind of collapsed due to COVID. AFF, the American Legion's football, collapsed due to not having proper backing, which is really sad, but that's kind of their fault. They screwed that up. But so we now have the Fan-Controlled Football League. 4 teams. We have the Glacier Boys, the Zappers, the Beast, and Wild Aces. I'm sorry, one of the big names that back it up is Marshawn Lynch. He backs this up, actually. So he is the owner of the Beast with a few other people. But so 7-on-7 football, they have Johnny Football, who hasn't been looking good in his stints here with the Fan-Controlled Football League. He's been kind of rusty. He's not really great. And you know what? Honestly, it kind of shows because he wasn't that great in the pros. Like in college, he was fine. But there's a lot of worse teams than that. Like in the NFL, you're versing 32 teams, and he couldn't beat any of them. I know he was on the Cleveland Browns, but that doesn't mean shit. And in this now, you're 4-on-4, and you got people who are really trying to gun to show their worth here. Because guess what? No one is safe in this league. The fans pick who go to each team. So the way it works is you sign up on their website, fcf.io. You go in there, you pick what team you want. So I actually tried it out myself. I'm on the Beast because Marshawn Lynch. You don't go against Marshawn Lynch. They were also 3-0 until this past weekend when they lost. I haven't really been keeping up with it though because it's a little for me. But so you go in. So it happens basically all week long. So Saturday is game day for them. So you go in there, you sign on their website, your team is playing, and you have to vote on the plays that you want to use. So you go in all right, let's do a pass play here. Majority rule says this pass play, that pass play gets picked. If not, they do whatever plays majority pick. You don't pick any defense. You're only offense, so you get to enjoy just watching if it's on defense. Fortunately, defense is kind of non-existent in this league, sadly. It's just kind of there. But they go, all right, so pace picked. The play is picked. They do what they need to do, and then you move on to the next play. So say now your team scores a touchdown. No kicking. There's no kicking at all. There's no punters, no kickers. So you have to go for 2, but it's you're not really doing an actual traditional 2-point conversion in the NFL where you have to actually run a play. It's one-on-one basically. You got the receiver versus the corner. Your quarterback's still there, but like no one's rushing, no one's doing it. You have to throw it to this one guy. And so basically you're basically relying on it because like even the snap, like the guy's on a chair and you have to throw the quarterback the ball, which I don't get. Just hold the ball at that point and just let it fly. But it's very weird. So now that's game day though. So like throughout the week, like the fans now get to vote on who gets drafted to to your team. Who do you franchise tag? Who do you bring in? And like it's just so it's a lot of work. You definitely have to have more of a commitment to this than you do with like NFL football. Because with like the normal football league, you just check the news and you're kind of done with it. You don't have to do anything else after that. Like, all right, yes, I see that, you know, JJ Watt got released by the Texans, which we'll talk about later. That's basically it. You don't control anything else. This is all on them because that's their jobs. Like this is definitely a more inclusive kind of thing. You vote on like, you know, rules changes because you know what? In these first few weeks, the refs have really been kind of not up to code, right? Like not up to standard. They're really kind of faltering here. They've been messing up. And you know what? That's good. Like the fans get to change the rules. But like then like I was reading the rule book as well. Like, you know, you can't stop the clock unless you're under a minute, which is like the 2-minute warning, which is kind of lame. You should be able to stop the clock when you need to, so this way you're not rushing the players, because that definitely puts them a little more at risk of fatigue. You know, no stop the clock, that means you're moving quick, because then you don't want to lose your time on trying to get this. But it's whatever. It's cool. Like they have even like they basically have their own network. They show the games on Twitch. They're powered by Twitch. So you could go on Twitch, and even if you don't want to vote, you could just watch the game on Twitch. You can relax, have a good time. You could even live chat with people watching the game, which is really cool, which is something, you know, you can't really do with the NFL. You know, you're not watching online, you're watching on TV. Like, you got to go in. Like, if you're at a bar, you could talk to the guys there, but unfortunately, due to COVID, a lot of people didn't get that opportunity, you know, because you got to stay kind of sheltered in. You got to stay home. But with this, though, like, it definitely brings people closer together. But like I said, though, it's just a little weird. So I was watching some of them. The Glacier Boys were playing like the Beast, and it was coming down to it. It was coming down to like right to the end. It was like a Hail Mary. Like Hail Mary seemed to be a lot easier in this league for some reason. Josh Gordon just came into the league. And he's on the Zappers, which is what Johnny Manziel was supposed to be on, but I don't think he's on that team anymore. I can double check that later. He might be, but he was downfield and he caught a Hail Mary. And I think having Josh Gordon is just a little unfair. Now, you might be saying, why is that unfair? I don't get it. Josh Gordon was a pro. So was Johnny Manziel great. Johnny Manziel, you can't say was like one of the top 10 quarterbacks in his time. He was definitely more of a bust. Josh Gordon, when he was in the league, he was a top 10 receiver. His talent didn't just vanish. He unfortunately just has like a little bit of issues, and I feel for him, and I hope he does get back to the pro level because he's a great talent. He's a great, great talent that any team would be fortunate to have. And with him playing against basically guys who couldn't make it to the league, that's just unfair. The Zappers now just have an unfair advantage, I feel like, with Josh Gordon. Like, he's going to shred everyone. He is going to tear up this league. And unfortunately, if you don't get another talent as high as Josh Gordon here, you're going to ruin your league right now, because the Zappers are just going to be the front runners right now because of that. If the Wild Aces got like a DB that was like top 10 but dropped out, like if Jalen Ramsey just all of a sudden got kicked out of the NFL and he went here, then it would be more fair. I feel like Jalen Ramsey versus Josh Gordon, but Jalen Ramsey I think is too good for that to happen. But I think it's just a little unfair. So, but the games, they're very quick. They're about like 20 minutes each. Like it's about an hour game because of halftime as well. But like they're only split in halves. So some complaints I think I have about it, the officiating, but they're fixing that, which is good. The field is only like 50 yards, nothing crazy. So it's like you're not really doing much. I get why there's not a lot of clock stoppage, but like it's 50 minutes. Every team is located in Atlanta, so they're definitely they're down south. They're staying like kind of bubbled, so which that's actually pretty cool that they're not risking any COVID here. So that's actually very, very good of them. But like then like there's no coin toss. Why is there no coin toss? So to determine who gets ball first, they play rock paper scissors. I don't know how I feel about that. I think the coin flip I thought was just fine, but you know what? If they don't want to do rock, paper, scissors, let them try it out. I think I just need to see more of it. I always miss the game like before that, so unfortunately I don't really get to see how the rock, paper, scissors really work. Like from what I've seen though, it's like it's one game, whoever wins gets it. And I don't know, I think just the coin flip might be fine. That's whatever. Basically they take the ball from like the 10 because there's no kickoffs, which I think they're missing out on. I do like the kickoff part. You know what? It's actually a fun aspect of the game is when they do kickoffs. But you know what? It is what it is. You can't really complain about it. They're doing what they can. And so really it's just it's growing very fast and it's very good to see. It gives more players an opportunity to make football a job for them, and maybe this could lead into the NFL. Probably not due to the league the way it is. Like, unfortunately, the NFL, I think, will probably not adapt any players from this just because now they kind of are playing a condensed version of the game. They're not playing a full field, not full time. I think that might hurt their chances of going pro into the actual league. I don't know what the payment looks like here, but as long as we're paying these guys, that's great. I love to see them, like, you know, give these players the opportunity. All right, so that was fan-controlled football. That I honestly don't know what I think. Like, it's a very hit or miss. I'll keep my tabs on it, but we're not going to do like a full in-depth analysis like this. I think we will switch that over to other topics that are going on. But why don't we go over the other big thing that happened during my time off? We had NBA All-Star Weekend, which wasn't even a weekend anymore. NBA All-Star Sunday happened. So everything that the NBA usually does was on Sunday. But let's talk about what happened on Saturday real quick, because Bleacher Report did something just to kind of keep it a little interesting. Bleacher Report held a 2v2 game between rappers. Quavo and Jack Harlow versus 2 Chainz and Lil Baby. They were playing for $50,000 to go to charity, which is really nice of them. So that was really cool that they were doing that. Quavo and Jack Harlow did win. 2 Chainz kind of showed his age a little bit. I did watch the highlights. Didn't really watch the whole thing. I didn't realize it was going on. 2 Chainz was definitely winded. I feel like they had a halftime, and after that halftime, he was just done. He was winded. There's no getting him after that. Lil Baby kind of had to help there a little bit, but Quavo went off. I think he almost had a triple-double, or he did during the game, because Jack Harlow was helping him out really, really well. They were playing like 19, I think, or 21. One of those two. But it was a fun little neat event they were doing. It's very nice that all the profits that they got went to charity. That's awesome of them. I think that's really cool that those guys were like took the time to go and do that for charity. That's just awesome. But why don't we go cut into what happened now on NBA Sunday? Now, I came in a little late, but I heard that Domantas Sabonis actually won the skills challenge during the event. He beat Nikola Vucevic from the Orlando Magic. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. He beat Vucevic for the 2021 crown. I'm actually looking up the bracket right now. I want to get you the kind of little more in-depth analysis of what happened there. But so they went in, did the skills challenge. So they really did everything kind of like rushed, I felt like, due to just what it was. Due to like their circumstance, like they did everything on a Sunday, so they didn't get to bring in all their usual guys. They didn't bring in everyone. But so what they had here was, I didn't realize Robert Covington was actually there. So Robert Covington did the skills challenge. Luka Doncic, Chris Paul, Julius Randle, Sabonis, and Vucevic. Basically all the people in the All-Star game, except for Robert Covington. I didn't realize they flew him out there because I think someone else was supposed to be there. So he was there. They did it, but it felt like more of a rush job. Like, you know, they ran right through it because they had to do that. They had to do the 3-point challenge, which I saw. That's where I came in. 3-point challenge. It was like Mike Conley, not Chris Paul, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Zach LaVine, Curry. There's one other who I'm missing. Connolly. Who am I missing? All right, so there's one other guy. Connolly, Tatum, Brown, Curry, Tatum. I'm going to look that up now. But so, it was a very good round. Who the hell was in it? So Mike Conley put up a good one. Like Steph Curry, unfortunately, he's just too good. He's too good of a player, of like a 3-point shooter. No, that was it. All right, yeah. So it was Mitchell, Curry, Conley, Tatum, Levine, and Brown. So I was right. Curry is just too good. Unfortunately, like they didn't let the opportunity of letting the other young guys try to come in because they had to do it with just who was there. Like Buddy Hield couldn't show up to defend his title. So like Steph Curry, like he's just too good. He put up 31 in the first round. Like yeah, Mike Conley put up 28. Tatum put up like I think 27. But like he's just too good. He's too good. Like he does it for a living. He's changed the game with his 3-point shooting, so it just was not fair of him to be there. But you know what? It was a good win. He put up what he needed to put up in the last round. Like everyone had a great time. It looked like they had a good showing. So why don't we talk about the game, the first half of the game, because the slam dunk contest happened at halftime. But like the first half was definitely Curry and Lillard just kind of yucking up shots from anywhere. Lillard and Curry were just trying to one up each other from like the logo. They were just putting them up. Giannis was still there. Like everyone was having a good time. But it was very clear LeBron didn't want to be there. I say this because LeBron played in the first quarter, and that was it. He was done. So they had a few fans there. So if they went to go see LeBron, that's upsetting. But he just didn't want to be there. And you know what? You knew it from his statements from before. Like you just knew he didn't want to be there anymore. Like he didn't want to do it. Like COVID reasons. Like he just kind of wanted to take the time off, relax. But since he was a team captain, he had to show up. So he played for a bit. Then he went to the sideline. But with that also, like, so they were all yucking up shots. They were dunking. Assist from State Farm went to charity. Dunks from, like, I think Allstate or something went to charity. So they were definitely doing this huge charity stuff. They were helping out schools, which was awesome. They were giving away cars and money to first responders, which was awesome. So the NBA definitely is doing a huge, huge thing for their community. It's awesome. So why don't we get into the dunk contest now? The dunk contest, the way that worked, there was only 3 dunkers. So with the 3 dunkers, they each got 2 dunks, and they got a score from 1 to 10 as they normally do. The 3 dunkers were Anthony Simmons, Obi Toppin, and Cassius something from the Pacers. I'm sorry if I forgot his name. I'll look it up later. But they all put on some good shots. They did a good dunking job. Like, you know what? The guy from the Pacers, he did what he could. I thought he did some really good stuff. Obi Toppin, he had a great dunk between the legs and then like kind of windmill it in. Like not really windmill, but like backwards. Like he just had an amazing dunk that I can't even describe. And Anthony Simmons, like he did a great tribute for Tracy McGrady. So that was really awesome of him. I think that's really cool. So once they determined that, so unfortunately the guy from the Pacers did get out against, Kenny Smith. Like he really thought he was going to win. So then in the second round, due to what happened last year with my guy Dwayne Wade, if you're watching on YouTube, you could see him in the middle here. That's my guy, but he kind of blew it for Aaron Gordon last year where he put a 9. So they actually changed the rule where they actually just say who they think should win instead of giving a score. So Obi Toppin, I don't even remember his dunk from the final round. But Anthony Simmons, he went up so high that he could have kissed the rim, but he didn't, due to probably, health and safety reasons. But he didn't kiss the rim, but he got up there, and it was pretty damn impressive that the judges gave him the win. So it was awesome. It was an awesome win for Anthony Simmons. He was versing 2 rookies essentially, but he went up. He did what he was supposed to do, and he put up a good show for everyone. It was a quick dunk contest. They were just really rushing through this. I feel like they could have, just done the game and we would have been fine as well, but they gave everyone their opportunity. Second half of play. Now, this is where it gets a little interesting. Giannis Antetokounmpo didn't miss a shot. He was actually putting up threes as well, so he got a lot of threes in. He put up some buckets. He was a perfect shooting percentage. He helped propel Team LeBron because, they didn't lose in the third quarter. They didn't lose when they were supposed to go to 24 because Damian Lillard, it was Dame time for him because he put it up. They were playing to 170 at that point, and he just drained what he needed to drain. Now, what does this mean for the All-Star Weekend? last year was definitely more competitive than it was this year. Last year, I think it was more hype for them to be there because we weren't in COVID yet. We didn't have any of these scares. Players wanted to be there. They were ready to roll. This year, unfortunately, since we have the COVID scare, they didn't really want to do it. They didn't want to be there. They didn't want to do it. And like, well, you saw with LeBron, like he sat on the bench the whole time. Like Zion was happy to be there because it was his first time. But like, you get those players like who made it interesting last year because like LeBron was in it. He wanted to win. Chris Paul was like, they were playing it like it was a serious game. But this year, it really didn't feel that way. So like with Damon Curry just kind of popping it from the logo, like it didn't feel like they were trying to be in the game. They were just trying to just kind of go through the motion, I felt like. So, you know what? They played it. It's over. We'll be back with, basketball on Thursday. I believe that's when the first game was supposed to come back. But they're doing their little break right now. Actually, I'm going to double check that right now as we're doing this. But they're in break right now. They're taking their time. They are relaxing now. They get a little bit. So actually Wednesday, the Wizards and the Grizzlies will start us off again, and the Spurs and the Mavericks. So March 10th, which is going to be midweek. This will come out on Saturday, so midweek this will start up again. And just, it was a nice, I guess it's a nice little break for the players. They get to relax. I don't know if they let them go home to their families for a little bit just to enjoy their company before they come and kick in the season again. All right. That's going to do it here for the first half. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to take a word from our sponsor. One thing I will note is if you're listening to this on YouTube, it'll be a different sponsor than like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and all that stuff. So enjoy that little moment. With everything coming back to normal as best they can, you're going to be able to go back to the big sports games. But what happens when it gets too cold for you, or you want to sit down on the grass at spring training and you just can't because you forgot the blanket? Get Vegetarian Viking Wool, 100% animal-friendly, eco-friendly, 100% faux furs. That is right, faux furs, no plastic included, all very eco-friendly, as I mentioned before. You can take them out, all locally owned, handmade by one person. It's really awesome. Get yours today. It's very warm, keeps you safe. Animals love it. You're going to have a great time with your faux fur. You can check it out on their website here, Vegetarian Viking Wool. We'll leave a link in the description down below. Or if you don't want to do that, check out their Instagram, and you can check out their Facebook. Vegetarian Viking Wool, here for today's sponsor. All right, welcome back. I hope you guys enjoyed your word from your sponsor. As I mentioned earlier, YouTube will get a different one from Spotify and Apple Music. So make sure if you really, if you're listening, you'll get different ones. But that's a word from our sponsors. So in our second half now, the way we're going to do it is we're going to put 30 minutes on the clock to finish off this rest of the roundup. We're going to talk about big topics. We've got 7 picked out for this one. And this is how we'll do it. If you're watching on YouTube, you're going to see we have a spreadsheet of everything, just like they do in Pardon the Interruption on ESPN. So you can see on the side here, I know it's a little weird on the camera that I'm trying to point, but on the side here, you'll see everything we're going to go through, and we will go down as we touch upon it. So why don't we get cracking here? So the first thing that happened was Dak Prescott finally got his money. He is now going to be a Dallas Cowboy. What does this mean? I don't know, because you know what? They put their money in there. They got a Zeke. They got Cooper. But they got exposed hardcore last year. Yeah, Dak got hurt, but that's not a team, unfortunately. Dak was not your team. He wasn't your issues. He kept you in games, and you definitely missed him for that. But you just couldn't win. Defense did nothing, and your O-line couldn't hold. And I don't know what happened, but Zeke took a huge step back than what he was a few years ago, or even the year before. Like, what happened there? You can't, you're putting all your money here. They put all their money here. It's awesome. It's great. But with that, though, they have a lot more issues than quarterback. But we get to see what they do. Now they finally secured Dak. He had a bad injury last year, and I'm praying he gets back to full 100% health. He's got a whole season. He's doing it. He's rocking it out. He's doing what he can do. But he's got to get up there. He's got to get going. And you know what? Now the Cowboys need to get him the stuff. Like they got CeeDee Lamb, they got Cooper, they've got Zeke, but their O-line is very suspect. They used to be top 5 O-lines, and they got to do that. Like the Giants twisted his ankle the wrong way because he had to move real quick. So hopefully they will get him the support he needs around him. Let's move on to the big one now, J.J. Watt. So before we went on break, actually no, like a little after we went on break, J.J. Watt got sent off of the Houston Texans. They respectfully granted his wishes, which I don't get why Deshaun Watson can't get out either, but they're apparently putting all their eggs in that basket. J.J. Watt, he was now free to go where he wanted. He said, I wanted to play for a winner. Apparently, we had narrowed it down to the Packers, a team that made it to the NFC Championship and was almost there, but they seem to always lose in the championship now since 2011. But he could have went there, and that could have maybe put them over the top. The Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Brown teams that shocked everyone. They beat the Steelers in the wild card, almost beat the Chiefs in the divisional round, and could have got over the top. They're almost there. They have a great team around them. Austin Hooper, Kareem Hunt, Nick Chubb, OBJ who will come back. They've got Jarvis Landry on that team. Njoku, defense as well. Denzel Ward, Myles Garrett. Great team. Could have went there. That could have got them that extra key piece to get them over the top. Or even the Buffalo Bills, who made it to the AFC Championship game with a monster defense. Josh Allen taking a huge step, and Stephon Diggs. Those were the three that we thought he was going. They're championship ready to go. What he decides to do is go to the Cardinals. The Cardinals, I don't feel like, are Super Bowl ready. But yes, they have Kyler Murray. They have DeAndre Hopkins. They had Chandler Jones, Patrick Peterson, who might not even be there, Budda Baker, Isaiah Simmons. Like that team, they're still a little young. Like, yeah, you bring in, they're becoming the Houston Texans essentially since they have Deshaun. They have JJ now. Maybe you'll get Deshaun Watson if you really want, but I think they're invested in Kyler Murray. But you can't. I don't think the Cardinals were ready. Cliff Kingsbury, I think, is still in a system that is unproven in the NFL. He's still not ready to get his system NFL ready, I feel like. I think he is going to be thoroughly let down here. I think he's not going to be Super Bowl ready. I don't think this team is going to be ready in the time that J.J. Watt is there. I think he's probably going to be gone by the time this team is ready to rock. Like, you know what? He could play all the heart he wants, but I don't think this team is ready. I think this team is still missing a few key pieces on offense. Yeah, they have Kenyon Drake, but he seemingly kind of fell off. Like they're getting pennies in the basket for these Houston Texans greats right now. And so they're basically combining teams, and I think that's not enough. I think you're still missing a few key pieces here, and we'll see what they decide to do. Carson Wentz now. He wasn't happy with the Eagles. He got benched. Doug Peterson got fired. They bring in some guy from the Colts to maybe mend the relationship. Clearly, they didn't give too much. They didn't care too much to really keep him around, so they sent his ass to the Colts for nothing. So basically, the Eagles are not paying dead cap to a guy who's not even on the team. So, I mean, that's just... I don't know what I think about that, because you know what? That's stupid. Why would you give up all that for Carson Wentz? Like, you could have probably fixed it if you really wanted to, but they clearly don't. So that means probably Jalen Hurts might be the guy going forward, but we still don't even know what the Eagles are doing. They bring in some guy who really hasn't done much of anything, and now you're trying to rely him with this rookie quarterback. Like, he's not a rookie anymore, but he essentially kind of still is. He's not really. I don't think Jalen Hurts is going to be ready just yet. I think he needed a little more time to kind of, get ready, but that's besides me. Carson now goes to the Colts. What does that mean for the Colts? They made it to the playoffs with Phil. Can Frank Reich get the same magic out of Carson Wentz like he did when they were both on the Eagles? I don't know. I think Carson Wentz's time, I think he's definitely kind of fallen off a bridge here. He's definitely, like, after that ACL tear he had during that year he could have been an MVP, it just kind of unraveled around him. I don't think he's ready to go anymore. I think he's kind of done. But we'll see what he can do. Maybe Frank Wright will, spark a life into him, because you know what? Ryan Tannehill I thought was kind of done too, but once he got to Tennessee, he definitely had a resurgence in his career. So maybe Carson Wentz needs a change of scenery, and maybe we'll see a resurgence in his career as well. Now, besides the big three that we talked about, why don't we talk about some other offseason moves here? So we kind of touched briefly about it in our season 1 finale, that Matthew Stafford and Jared Goff got swapped, but the Lions got more in return because the Rams gave up more picks. So that means that Matthew Stafford clearly was valued more than Jared Goff. So with that, though, now Jared Goff is going to Detroit, where he now has a head coach that isn't sold on him, and Matt Stafford is going to LA with a pretty good team. You got Donald, you got Jalen Ramsey, you've got Cooper Kupp, you've got the Cam Akers. Like, you got a good team set up around him now. Let's see what they can do. Like, this team didn't make the playoffs last year. Let's see what they can. They got to make a move now. They can't be faltering around. They have to make the. Oh no, they did make the playoffs. I'm sorry, they made the playoffs. But this should be like a team that should be going more. They were able to beat Seattle with Jared Goff with a broken thumb. What can they do with a healthy Matt Stafford? Because no offense to Jared Goff, Matt Stafford is a much better quarterback. But now the Rams basically have no draft picks. So like maybe 2024, 2025, because they just got rid of them all. Speaking of the draft, though, we have some big questions here. My Falcons, they might be going for a quarterback. The Jaguars are definitely going for Trevor Lawrence. What are the Jets going to do with their second pick? What are the Dolphins going to do with the third pick? Like, there's so much up in the air. Like, the Jets, are they going to invest in Sam Darnold, or are they going to get, like, Zach Wilson or Justin Fields? Are they going to maybe trade down and stick with Darnold? You never know. And we have a ton of free agents going into the pool, too. Like, Kenny Galladay's now there. Allen Robinson is in there. And we got to see what's going to happen with these big moves. Like, this is a huge, stepping stone for the whole league right now. And we don't really have much to kind of base off anything right now, just because we still have so much for them to do. There's going to be a lot of off-season moves that's going to happen throughout this time. So we're going to see what happens. We're going to see how this rolls and go from there. And we will definitely, when the NFL, when news starts happening, we will definitely keep going in and hopefully be joined by our friend Carrie, who joins us for NFL talk. Now, to basketball, since we were just talking about the NBA All-Star Weekend. Blake Griffin was released by the Pistons before the break, and during the break, now the Brooklyn Nets get stronger. First, you get Kyrie and KD last year. Kyrie got hurt, so you really didn't count that out. So first year with KD and Kyrie. During the season, you get James Harden. So there's a reunion right there between KD and James Harden. And that big three was going crazy. Now, KD gets hurt. That's fine. He's going to come back healthier and be fine. Now you get Blake Griffin. You have Blake Griffin and DeAndre Jordan as your continuation there of your reunion tour. But with that, now you bring in these guys, and it's like, who else are they going to bring in? Because the Brooklyn Nets are now becoming the team to be. They're becoming the new Golden State Warriors that we've seen, where the Rain Chasers are going to want to go here. They're going to flood here. So basically now it's, you want to go to Brooklyn or you want to go to LA with the Lakers or the Clippers, to be honest with you, because, Kawhi and Paul George are still a great duo. But we're talking Brooklyn Nets for a moment. Like, yeah, they're the second team in New York. The Knicks are still the number one team. They just had an all-star in Julius Randle. But you just made a big four now. You're missing, like, maybe one big key piece. Maybe get, like, a good center. You could have got DeMarcus Cousins, but I think he went to the Lakers or something. I can look that up in a second. But you now have a big four here in the Eastern Conference. What does that mean for maybe the Milwaukee Bucks? What does that mean for the Boston Celtics? What does that mean for the excuse me? What does that mean for the Miami Heat? What is this going to happen? Like, the Nets probably are now going to run away with this conference. Unfortunately, the East has always been weak in recent years. They're just starting to get some star power back with Giannis. Sabonis, I guess you could say he's star power, but they just got James Harden in there. They're getting Blake Griffin. Or Blake Griffin was there. Now he's sticking around some more. KD just came to the West. Kyrie's been in the East. You had LeBron leave. Kawhi was there for a bit, and then he left. So what does it mean, though? Like, this Eastern Conference is so weak right now because, like, you have teams like the Hornets. Unfortunately, they're still they're very weak right now. The Hawks, they're weak. Cavaliers have always kind of been a basement dweller. The Knicks, they're definitely down there. The Raptors have really gone to shit since their championship run. Like, the Raptors really are going to get screwed out of all this. But so Griffin to the Nets is the most dangerous thing right now. Like, you can't... Excuse me, my throat's getting dry. You can't do anything now. Like, the Nets are second in the East, but, like, for how long? They're going to take over here. Like, Ben Simmons and Embiid, they just got COVID due to contact tracing before the All-Star game because, you got to look fresh for the All-Star game. But, the bar, I guess, I don't know what the hell they were doing, to be honest. I'm just saying that for the sake of a joke. But they got contract traced, so now they're going to be losing some games probably because they're going to be out for 2 weeks. So you look, the Sixers are taking a huge hit. The Raptors like 8th seed. Like, there's no one here anymore that can compete with them. And the sad part is they're probably going to be like a 4th or 5th seed if they were in the West. So the Blake Griffin to the Nets is going to be such a dangerous thing for the NBA right now. Even with the West, like, being as strong as they are, like, yeah, Utah's number 1, but can they really take on this Nets team? Or can they even take on the Lakers? We're going to take a quick side here for a second to talk about just some basketball for a second because the Utah Jazz are in first, which is awesome. But, like, they couldn't get any respect in the All-Star game, really. But, so that's just kind of, that's that. Blake Griffin, he's going to the Nets. That's all. It's just, that is crazy to think that that's what's happening here. All right, why don't we move down our list here? MLB spring training, full swing. That means we're getting real close. I had to bust out the Mets gear today. We are almost at the point of spring training. We are at the spring training. They're in full swing. Like, Yu Darvish just put up 4 strikeouts in his few innings. He got DeGrom's looking hot because I got to keep up with my Mets. But everyone is getting ready. We really didn't talk about the Francisco Lindor trade. Like, that's a huge one for the Mets. I'm sorry, most of my stuff is Mets related because it's my team. During football, I had a lot of Falcon stuff going on, so I have a lot of biases. That's basically what it is, but I will try to keep it unbiased here. But, let's see. Like, honestly, I'm excited to see what's going to happen. Like, they're saying Gary Sanchez is poised for something good. We have a lot of, like, question marks here. Can the Dodgers repeat? Which, honestly, I remember they signed someone huge over the season. I think it was like another pitcher to go with to complement Kershaw. I'm trying to remember who it was. Well, they got David Price still. The Mookie Betts is looking to make a huge. Joe Bauer, that's who it was. They got Bauer. Trevor Bauer. Sorry, not Joe Bauer. Trevor Bauer on the Dodgers. Can they do a repeat of their World Series run? Like, is this something they can do? They do have a game against the Reds. I'm recording this on March 9th. So they got a nice little spring training game coming up. But, it's going to be a fun season to watch to see what happens. Like, this is season 2, basically, of COVID for MLB because they had that they played during the COVID scare and they're doing it again. And I think they are much better than what they were last year, so they should be able to make a really good run here for a good season. And they get to actually have a spring training this time so people can get up to speed. So it's going to be good to see all the moves, see what everyone does, see what they can do and make their proper moves here. So I think it's going to be a fun MLB season. I think we're going to have a great time. I don't think they're playing all 100 whatever games that they normally play. I think they're doing a condensed season, but it's still going to be a good amount of games for them to play. And I think we will do a MLB preview show probably next week or the following week. Or actually, I don't know how our schedule is going to work right now. We're still kind of working out some kinks, but we wanted to come out with season 2 here to get ready. I think maybe every 2 weeks we might do. Every other week might be a new episode. I think we're going to ease up the every week. But I will go over that maybe at the end of the episode, just because we're a little short on time and we got to get moving here. March Madness starts March 18th. So next week, March Madness starts. We have a selection show. Unfortunately, I'm not too big on college sports, so I'm not too sure what's going on there. But March Madness is coming strong. We're hitting our strides here. and we're getting ready. We're actually getting a March Madness this year. Last year we couldn't get it due to COVID, and we didn't want to get our student athletes sick. You know, they are at big risk here. I think they're still at a big risk since they don't get paid and they can easily end their basketball careers without making any money. I'm a little sad they still don't get paid, but March Madness is always something fun. It's going to be a great thing. If you guys want to do a bracket with me, I will do a bracket. We will figure that out when we get there. And so we will see how they do. So I know that our episode is running a little short today. Oh, sorry. Didn't mean to do that. Our episode is running short. You know what? Unfortunately, we are still just kind of working out some of the kinks we had from season 1 and over to season 2. So hopefully as we keep going with season 2, we will get stronger. Now, with that, what does that mean though? So hopefully we're going to work on our timing here. Because unfortunately, I don't think I took up a whole full hour. I think maybe I took up maybe like 40 minutes. So I got to reduce that maybe. I got to reduce our timers. Second half was definitely a little quicker. Because you know what, we want to talk about just 2 big things and then kind of go into little topics. We don't want to waste your time with too much here. So I don't want to go too crazy. We talked about the fan-controlled football league, and that was awesome. So we're gonna definitely keep working. If you guys have any recommendations for how we should work our episodes, please feel free to reach out to us on Twitter and Facebook. That's the best way to get with us. Best way to reach out. Now, we want to now end every episode with a question. So why don't we, first off, just to kind of show you our whistle here. So usually we will have a whistle sounding like this. That'll mean our episode is coming to an end. So like I said, we're going to work out the timing, the kinks of everything. So we're going to fix that. We're going to get ready for next time we come back here. So the whistle is blown, and we want to end every episode with the question of the day. We're going to post these on Twitter as well, so you can feel free to join along. And, you know, in case if you missed the episode, we always want to ask these questions. So the first question we're going to ask is, which MLB team do you think has the best chance to win the World Series this year for the 2021 season? Who's it going to be? We'd love to hear your responses. Reach out to us on Twitter and Facebook. We're at Till Whistle Blow. We will be looking for all responses to who you think will win the World Series in 2021. I hope you guys enjoyed our Season 2 premiere. We will be back for our next episode. I'm not too sure on the timing yet. We will let you know what we decide to do. Have a good day, everybody.